guys, coming at you today with a fall festive Thanksgiving dessert, keto pumpkin pie. Now I have a pumpkin pie kind of on my channel already. I'll link it up there for you. It's my old coconut flour crust, which is delicious and flaky, and it has a layer of a cinnamon cheesecake on the bottom and then a layer of pumpkin pie on top. It is delicious, but it's a little bit higher in carbs because of my old coconut flour crust recipe. Now I have a new recipe, and it makes an eighth of this pie, only 3 grams of net carbs. So let's get started. Okay, so this recipe is pretty straightforward. When I was doing my research last time for pumpkin pie, I pretty much followed the famous pumpkin pie recipe. I looked up what exactly evaporated milk was, and it's basically just a sweeter version of milk. In that original recipe, I just subbed in some heavy cream that was diluted a little bit with an alternative unsweetened milk, and it worked out perfectly. But I already have my oven preheated to 350. First, we're gonna roll out our pie crust. Now, if you saw my strawberry rhubarb pie ice cream video, you know that I pre-make a bunch of portions of pie crust. So I already have one that I pulled yesterday to thaw, and it's been in the refrigerator. I'm just going to use that. I'll link up in the cards there my Dutch caramel apple pie that I made. That is this recipe right here. If you want to go and watch how I make this, it's basically a regular pie crust recipe that you made when you were younger. So you had flour, which is a couple extra ingredients for us, cut in butter, and then ice water, and that's it. I'm gonna roll this between 2 pieces of parchment paper into a round disc to put into our pie pan. After this is done, we'll put it in the refrigerator to chill while we make our filling. You always want to work from the middle out. Your edges are always going to be thinner than the middle. And you want to go back and forth, but also diagonal. That's the best way to get a round shape. Go in all directions. I know I have a lot of new subscribers, and these recipes I'm doing that are a little bit shorter content have a lot less tips and tricks in them than my previous videos. So I really encourage you to go watch some of my older videos, because I like giving tips and tricks on how best for things to turn out. And I can't like pinpoint recipes where I said certain things. You just kind of got to watch them, and you'll learn a lot of things about different even sweeteners or techniques or ingredients I use, stuff like that. They may be long, but they're usually full of a lot of good information. Say that's good. Before you do anything, you get this side off, and then you flip it, unstick the other side. In the middle. Flip, gently peel away, and then you're gonna want to lift and push it in. Don't just try and like push it in like that. You want to lift and slide it down. You don't rip it. Then you have some spots that have a little bit more, a little bit less. You do want some excess because you want to make a pretty border on here. Oh, and I forgot to spray this. Probably do that. I'm gonna pop this back out because I believe when I did my apple pie, I did it in this pan, and it stuck the first time when I was doing tests. Oh. Almost. Kept telling myself, spray the pan before you do it, and then forgot anyways. Pie crust back in. For being a keto crust, it's pretty forgiving. Pretty much, if you didn't even want to roll it out, you could probably just get away with putting it in the pan and pressing it in. But you don't want to melt the butter too much. It's like the biggest thing. You want to have like these flecks of butter in there. So, it should probably work kind of quick now, because we're warming up for sure. You have no holes in the bottom, which if you didn't do what I did, you should not have holes. And butter's getting real soft. It's real warm in here. I don't have the AC on. I want to build up the side a little bit. Thick right there. I'm going to pop this into the refrigerator for a minute, and then we'll come back and we'll shape it because it's getting too soft. Okay, while that's chilling for a couple of minutes, I'm going to get pumpkin puree into a stand mixer. Now normally with a pumpkin pie, you don't need to use a stand mixer or even a hand mixer. It just says to whisk the ingredients together. But because we don't want our sweetener to be grainy in there, we're gonna beat the pumpkin with the sweetener so that it dissolves, because our sweetener doesn't dissolve like regular sugar. It takes a long time and a lot of agitation. So that's 14.5 ounces of pumpkin puree, half of that can I had, and then the recipe called for a cup and a half of regular granular sweetener. I'm using 3/4 of a cup of golden Monkford erythritol blend, but you can use just regular classic or just straight erythritol if you want. And we're gonna beat that until there's not as much graininess in the sweetener. I already have my 2 eggs pulled out, and then we're gonna make our evaporated milk. 1 cup of heavy cream, half cup of the So Delicious coconut milk. And then we just need to add spices, and it's all set to go. Okay, well that's going for a little while longer. I'm gonna get the pie crust back out and finish crimping it. You can obviously do any decorative edge you want. That's just what I always grew up doing. Back in the fridge until we have to fill it. Okay, I might put it into the freezer because it's pretty soft still. I don't feel much graininess left, so it just says to mix dry ingredients, which is just sugar and the spices. So I just beat the pumpkin and sweetener and stuff together. It says to beat eggs and then stir in pumpkin and the sugar and then the milk. We're doing a little out of order, but that's sometimes what we gotta do for our keto stuff. And then I'm gonna add 1 egg at a time and then drizzle in the milk we made, not with the spatula in it. I initially was thinking about doing the eggs and sweetener together first, but I didn't want to whip air into the eggs, because if you think about pumpkin pie, it's like a dense custard, not a fluffy custard. So you don't want to add too much air, which is why it just tells you to whisk all the ingredients together. It doesn't tell you to use a mixer of any kind. That is why. That's as far as I'm going with mixing the egg in. Should be good. I'm going to drizzle in our milk mixture. Give it 1 scrape and 1 more mix. Good to go. That's it. Pumpkin pie mix. 1 final mix in. Everything's pretty well combined in there. And grab our pie shell. Pour it in. Apparently there was some pumpkin down there. Okay, it's a full pumpkin pie. So the can says 35 to 45 minutes, but we'll definitely be turning this halfway through and checking on it to see how long we need. Carefully walk it over to the stove. Oh gosh. See, I'm watching it and it's not a good idea. It is nowhere near done. Ow. As I burn myself, turn it all the way. I did put a pan under it just in case, and our crust is really full of butter, so it's kind of leaking out too, so that's good. 34 minutes, still really soupy.
1 eternity later.
Okay, so I checked this a lot of times, and it was not done for the longest time, but it finally is. I'm probably gonna make another pumpkin pie and test the time. It should be just a little bit jiggly, but set in the middle. So this took 1 hour and 14 minutes. I don't know if that's because of the electrical oven or because I just checked it too early and should have just waited until like 25 minutes almost before I turned it. But we're gonna try this one once it's cooled. It has to cool on the countertop and then get chilled in the fridge for a while. And I'll probably make another one today or tomorrow, because I need more than 8 slices for the case anyways. Okay, so interjecting from the future me, I just made another pumpkin pie and it took about 1 hour and 10 minutes still. I didn't use all my batter. I had like a 1/4 cup left, but apparently you need a really deep pie pan in order to make the recipe on the back of the Libby's pumpkin tin. Another thing is the crust. If you use a pie shield, which I didn't, I'll insert a picture here. I kind of just did a makeshift one and it turned out good. So the crust didn't get like too dark, but this is pie number 3. I made one other one. It turned out good, but I didn't do the pretty like edge on it. I just did a straight edge, but I couldn't put hardly any of the batter in it because the crust, you know, comes up a little bit and it allows you to put more batter in. So If you don't do this scalloped edge and just do it flat to the rim, you're gonna have even more batter left. So that's what I figured out. Either way, it all tastes good. I've had people coming back for more. Someone actually ordered a whole pie from me because they loved it so much. So it is definitely a delicious pie. It's just a little tricky if you don't have a super deep pie pan. Okay, confession time. I never really ate pumpkin pie, I don't think, ever. I never really liked it, I don't think. We're gonna try it today, obviously. I did try my cheesecake pumpkin pie, and that was delicious. So maybe I do like pumpkin pie. We're gonna find out today, but I'm gonna make some caramel whipped cream for on top of it. So I'm gonna make a stabilized whipped cream. I'm gonna do a whole cup, but I don't think we're gonna need that much. I'm not gonna go through the steps here because I've shown this in multiple videos. I will link one up there for you right now. Basically, we're just adding a little bit of sweetener to this, and we're tempering some bloomed melted gelatin to stabilize it. I have caramel stevia here. Just use regular stevia if you want, but then you don't have the caramel flavor. And this is my sifted powdered monk fruit erythritol, so I'm gonna add some of that to it. It's all the taste. Oh, and then I also have caramel extract, do a ½ teaspoon. And then for the gelatin, make sure it's sweet enough. Ooh, that's caramely. Good. Time to get out our pie. Now we did have some crackage. I hate these little green bags. They're too small. It's always helpful to have a pie server. Now I'm gonna try to do this into 10, straight down the middle, and then the middle, but you have to go kind of estimate where your middle piece is gonna be, how big it's gonna be. There, that's pretty close. Add some whipped cream. I'll probably just cut one slice right now, huh? And then decorate the rest for the case. I'm gonna grab some hot water to dunk my knife in to try and get a clean slice out of this. I've made my slice a little bit small. I don't need a big slice. Okay, now, how do we get it out? Crust is a little overdone. Almost got a clean slice. That looks like pumpkin pie to me. We only missed a little chunker. So I wonder, why is it not traditional to cover the whole pie in whipped cream? Like, you do a lemon meringue that way, do a key lime pie that way. Any other kind of cream pies you do? I guess pumpkin isn't cream pie, but it looks pretty good. Pumpkin pie, first time ever eating just plain pumpkin pie, I think. Not bad. This is really creamy. I don't know if you can tell. The crust is pretty flaky. It's good with the whipped cream. That's the ticket. Caramel pumpkin pie. I really don't have much to compare it to. Like I said, I never really ate pumpkin pie. But it definitely doesn't taste keto if that's what you're worried about. It's definitely just tastes like pumpkin pie. Yeah, I want to try some with the crust, see if it is okay with like some of the pie and the whipped cream. It's okay. I might put the whipped cream around the crust. Maybe I'll soften it up a little bit. But it's still delicious. My first time eating pumpkin pie. And it was really good. And keto. Only if you cut it into 10, so my recipe says 2 net carbs if you cut it into 10 slices. And I don't think we're even going to use anywhere near the cup of whipped cream. So that's not going to add a carb because there's 6 carbs in a cup of whipped cream. Spread out among 10 pieces, that's still not going to be a carb per slice. Pretty low carb, delicious pumpkin pie. I hope you guys enjoy this video and make it for your holiday festivities. Let me know in the comments below how everyone enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out my Amazon links and the blog link to the full recipe in the description box below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll be back with many more keto dessert recipes. Bye guys. wear the appropriate shirt today.